I was talking to a lady who phoned me from Washington, or I did not know her, but somebody told her about me and she was talking to me. She said she had been having problems with her husband. They do not see eye to eye with each other, and he has for 1 year they have been more or less separated, and he has filed a divorce. Then I have to just be receptive, just keep on listening. They made reconciliation efforts. So she called her husband. They met at some place. They initially agreed that both of them love each other, but then they started working on their differences. And once they started working on the differences, they are not able to resolve these differences because they are getting identified with those differences. She asked me, what am I to do? What would be your advice in such a situation? This is a problem which is very common in this part of the world. So I chose this problem to bring it to the surface. Let me proceed with the analysis a little more before we come to the answer. Supposing you are hurt, you are injured. Are you the being who is injured? Or are you the witness of a being who is injured? Supposing somebody hit you badly and you are feeling the pain there. You are hurt. You are hurting. So if I ask you, are you hurting? Yes, you say, yes, I am hurting. Do you know that you are hurting? Yes, I know that I am hurting. So there is a part which knows the hurting being. That part is not hurt. Let's go back to our mirror image example. I am seeing myself reflected in the mirror. There is a part of this, all that I see in the mirror, which I am identifying with a particular body. Now supposing I move my attention away from this part of the being to identify myself with a different part of the cosmos that I see, and then ask the question, supposing I am hurt. So what I am doing is I become a witness to this hurt, this injury. So if you are identifying yourself with that part which is not hurting, which is a witness to this being who is hurting, then you can look at the world as a dream. Supposing I go to a dream, and in the dream I can be a king, right? I am a king. I am going on a hunt, sitting on an elephant. There are drummers there following me. There are wild dogs following me. Then I go in a hunt, and then we locate a tiger. I shoot down the tiger and bring it back home, and then I wake up from the dream. When I wake up from the dream, I am not a king anymore. But when in the dream I am the king, where did the elephant come from? It came from my mind. Where did the wild dogs came from? They came from my mind. And where was the forest in which I was going on hunting came from? It came from my mind. It was a part of me. And how did the tiger which I shot come from? It came from my mind. So all these are parts of my mind. Now if I was identifying myself with the king, so I did not experience the pain which the tiger was experiencing when. So even there, this dichotomy takes you away from the hurt situation. And when you wake up, you realize that all these things were yourself. You have a choice. The choice is to identify yourself with the particular aspect that you think you are, or you can identify yourself with the witness that is the whole other thing which is seeing you suffering. The choice exists for me to be the world and see myself. Then I am a witness. The witness consciousness pervades this whole world, the whole cosmos. And in that you observe that I have got out of myself and I have pervaded every individual, because every individual is seeing me. So my witness consciousness is covering all of us, uniting us. So when you go to negotiate with a person, you must identify yourself with the witness consciousness. The two of you are united there. You recognize that you are not two different people, but you are parts of the dream of one single individual who are adopting two role models, and you are playing your games. You need not give up your games, but you must realize that you are playing your games. It is that realization which enables you to play the game more effectively, with detachment, without dying. That is a way to overcome the fear too. How did the dreamer overcome the fear? He woke from the dream. Once you wake up from the dream, there is no separateness. Everything is as unified. So you know that it is all an illusion. It's like you are playing a game. Two friends sitting together and playing a game. You are involved in the game, and sometimes you get emotional, but then you realize that this is all a game, and then you are able to play the game better. So this world that we are living in used to be played like you are playing a game. This is why the ritual that we perform is to get the ability of ourselves to be like children again. We find this world so divided that we are not able to find anything that is really lovable there. So we want to create a sacred space. We want to be like little children playing with the dolls. I can express my love to the idol, and it will not refuse me. It will not reject me. I can express my love to God, and I know that it is going to accept. So the process of change begins with you, and this has to you have to start having a better dream, and that is the way. You have to live the way of your heart, what your heart says, what your centering says. You must give yourself space for being yourself, and your actions must be supported by the promptings from within you. When you are playing a game of war, if you are if all your actions or your strategy is based upon reacting to what the other person is doing, then you are not a master strategist, because the control rests with the other person. He is defining the strategy by putting the initiatives, and you are just reacting to them. So he knows what your reaction is going to be, so your strategy will not work then. Your strategy for improvement of the world must start from not the world is what the world is saying about it, but what you are saying about it. You have to discover, go to the deepest roots within yourself, go to your heart and find out what that is prompting. And that only prompts always love and affection. It does not prompt war. We must attack the negativity at its roots, and its roots lie in the heart. Once you go to the heart is centering device. There can be nothing except love and light there, and glory and harmony. So that is the way the sadhana must proceed. You must go according to what your heart says. What your thought says, it must correspond with what your word says, and what your words are, they must correspond with your actions. So correspondence between thought, word and deed are the probing aspect, and they must be guided by your intuition, the heart. So these four things must be in total correspondence, then you are divine. Now I would like to invite questions from you, and I would like to answer them to the best of my ability. The question is, what role the mantra plays in achieving a resonance between thought, word and deed and the emotion. The mantra is an internal sound which you keep producing again and again and again. It becomes very familiar to you after a few repetitions. Even if you had a meaning associated with that mantra, that association will not last long. So it becomes a sort of a pattern of sounds which is just keep on going again and again and again. In a sense, a mantra is like a selective filter which has got certain characteristics. When you are uttering the mantra inside the mind, subconsciously you are making these subtle movements of the vocal cords, and they are activating certain regions of the brain, and these sounds have a propensity to evoke image patterns. So if you are familiar with the filter theory, so there is a certain Q factor, quality factor associated with the spectrum of the channel that is allowing the information to come through. So you can say, in a sense, a mantra defines a channel of communication with the deepest aspects of the knowledge that are there inside of yourself. Now we all realize that our genes encode all the information about the entire history of the life process itself, right from the lowest primitive stages of life up to the highest stage of evolution that we have come to. All this is recorded in the human gene system, and that is the subconscious part of the memory. You have lived as a tiger, you have lived as a reptile, you have lived as a plant, you have lived as a fish, and all these memories are there inside of your mind. Now which of these memories are being pulled up by the presence of the mantra? How the mantra works, I will just briefly indicate to you. Supposing you are studying for your examination and somebody is playing a disco music just next door, I mean a very loud volume, you will not be able to concentrate on what you are studying, because that sound is interfering with the thing that you are trying to do. So sound has an effect of interfering with an image that you are trying to process, right? So this sound can be an external sound or an internally generated sound. The internally generated sound is the mantra. So when you are sitting there and just trying to keep your mind still there are some thoughts coming in, and the sound mechanism, this mantra that you are using, is a means of interfering with that process. Now, just as you have not been able to give your total attention to the image that is coming through, when you had when there was no sound disco, you could just concentrate well, but when the music is there, you cannot concentrate. So in the same way, you will not be able to give all your attention to the image that is coming through. So in a sense, it helps you to detach yourself from the thought that is coming through at that point. And not only that, your level of awareness that you can give to either the sound or to the interfering thought, both of them are lower than the fully conscious level, right? Because this is interfering with that and that is interfering with this. So you cannot concentrate on this, nor can you concentrate on that. So the level of awareness you can give, the level of focus, attention that you can give to either of them comes down. If you approach the mantra japam or the recitation of the mantra again and again with the idea of being a detached witness to what is happening, and when some thought current comes along, you do not try to pass a judgment that this is good, this is bad, this is desirable, undesirable. Don't evaluate. Don't cognize even. If you happen to cognize, because that is the nature of your mind's functioning, or you say, how interesting. Supposing an image comes up that a demon is chasing you and has caught your neck and is pressing. If you are able to detach yourself from that idea, you can say, how interesting. It is like watching a horror movie, you see. Only thing is, there is a person called Bhimji who is being chased by the demon, and the demon has caught hold of thing and is squeezing him. This fellow is going to die. But you are watching that process. You are not identifying with yourself with that Bhimji there, but you are saying there is a person called Bhimji who is being attacked by demon. How interesting. So if you can retain that that detachment, then this thought current will not be able to hold on to you and it will just pass away. It is your interest that makes you identify yourself with something, and then you start experiencing the pain or the pleasure of the situation. To give an example, supposing you go to a movie theater, in the beginning you are seeing the people surrounding you, and you are there's an interesting couple doing something there, let me watch, and then whether the fan is working or not, all these things, you are aware of the environment. But once the movie starts, then your mind gets totally absorbed in that. Then you identify yourself with the hero or the heroine, and you are fighting the fights of those things, you are enjoying the loves of those people. So your mind is totally identified with that. You are not able to remain detached anymore. So you become entrapped in the role that is being laid out for you by means of the audiovisual experience. So it is this entrapment that causes your attachment and your experience of pain and pleasure. But the moment you are able to withdraw yourself from Bhimji and say, I am not Bhimji, but I am witnessing a person called Bhimji who is experiencing this. Then it becomes a play.